If you've searched for the best Fivetran alternative, you're probably not looking for more connectors. You're looking for simpler pricing and better functionality. For years, Fivetran has been the gold standard for managed data integration. Reliable connectors, automatic schema updates, and minimal maintenance made it one of the easiest ways to move data into a warehouse. And for many organizations, it still does that extremely well. So why are more companies evaluating alternatives in 2026? The answer has less to do with connector quality and more to do with how modern data teams operate. Following Fivetran's merger with DBT Labs, ingestion and transformation are more closely connected than ever before. At the same time, businesses are processing more data, supporting more applications, and asking their data platforms to do far more than simply move data from point A to point B. And one question keeps coming up. Why is consumption-based pricing becoming a challenge for growing data teams? Nobody expects their data bill to stay the same forever. As businesses grow, more customers generate more events, transactions, and records. When pricing is tied to monthly active rows, forecasting infrastructure costs becomes increasingly difficult as data volumes scale. Cost is only part of the story. Many organizations still rely on additional platforms for reverse ETL, observability, orchestration, and business intelligence. Each tool solves an important problem. Together, they create a larger stack that's more expensive to operate and maintain. That's why today's buying decisions aren't just about ETL, they're about architecture. And every major Fivetran alternative approaches that architecture a little differently. Let's start with the option that's become the go-to choice for teams that want maximum flexibility. Airbyte, the best open source alternative. If you want to self-host, Airbyte is one of the strongest alternatives to Fivetran. With more than 600 connectors, change data capture, and a connector development kit for building custom integrations, Airbyte gives engineering teams an exceptional amount of flexibility. You choose where the platform runs, how it's deployed, and how connectors are built. That flexibility comes with additional responsibility. Running Airbyte at enterprise scale means your team owns the infrastructure, connector maintenance, monitoring, and upgrades. Organizations with dedicated platform engineering teams are often comfortable with that trade-off. Smaller teams may find that the operational overhead grows alongside the business. Another important consideration is transformations. Do you still need DBT if you use Airbyte? For most organizations, yes. Airbyte is built around a modular architecture. It focuses on data ingestion, while transformations are typically handled by DBT or warehouse SQL. Reverse ETL often comes from another specialized platform. Following Fivetran's merger with DBT Labs, many teams continue using Airbyte alongside DBT because it's still the industry standard for analytics engineering. The bigger decision is whether your team prefers assembling best-in-class tools or consolidating more of the data lifecycle into a single platform. That brings us to migrate.io, a tool that brings low-code, fixed-fee pipelines to the mix. Migrate.io approaches the market differently by combining ETL, ELT, change data capture, visual transformations, reverse ETL, and observability inside a single low-code platform. For organizations comparing Migrate.io versus Fivetran, the biggest difference often comes down to predictability. Which ETL platform offers predictable pricing? Unlike MAR pricing, Migrate.io uses flat-rate pricing with unlimited data volumes. That makes budgeting far more predictable as workloads grow. Switching from Fivetran doesn't have to mean redesigning your entire data stack. Many organizations migrate to Migrate.io while keeping the rest of their architecture exactly as it is. They continue using DBT for transformations, keep the same warehouse, and simply replace Fivetran with Migrate.io's ELT and change data capture capabilities. In fact, that's a common migration path for teams that like their existing architecture but want more predictable pricing. For organizations that do want to simplify further, Migrate.io also offers visual transformations, reverse ETL, and observability within the same platform. The choice is yours. You can replace only the Fivetran layer or consolidate more of your stack over time. The platform also includes more than 220 built-in visual transformations, allowing many common pipelines to be built without relying heavily on SQL or external transformation tools. Also, if you need fresher data, Migrate.io delivers sub-60-second change data capture. And if you want to push warehouse data back into Salesforce, HubSpot, or Marketo, reverse ETL is built directly into the platform, removing the need for another specialized vendor. Integrate.io's biggest advantages is helping teams that are trying to reduce operational complexity while expanding what their data platform can do. Of course, not every company is solving enterprise-scale data problems. For many smaller teams, simplicity matters more than an extensive feature set. Which brings us to Stitch, a simple option for smaller teams. Some teams have a handful of SaaS applications, a cloud warehouse, and dashboards that refresh overnight. Their priority is getting reliable data into the warehouse without spending time managing infrastructure. That's where Stitch fits. The platform focuses on managed data ingestion through a straightforward graphical interface that's easy to configure and maintain. The trade-off comes as your requirements grow. Organizations building operational analytics or customer-facing data products often need more sophisticated workflows, fresher data, and greater flexibility than Stitch is designed to provide. For startups and smaller reporting teams, it's a solid choice. For larger organizations, it's often a stepping stone rather than a long-term platform. However, at the other end of the spectrum are organizations with very different priorities. Instead of looking for the simplest way to move data, they're focused on getting the most out of their cloud data warehouse. That's where Matillion comes in. Some organizations have already made a strategic decision. Their cloud data warehouse is the center of everything. If your business runs on Snowflake, Databricks, BigQuery, or Amazon Redshift, Matillion is worth a close look. Its biggest strength is push-down optimization, allowing transformations to run directly inside the warehouse instead of on a separate processing engine. Combined with its visual ETL builder, it provides an efficient way to build warehouse-native data pipelines. That approach works particularly well for engineering teams that have already invested heavily in their cloud warehouse and want to maximize that investment. So what's the best Fivetran alternative? After looking across these platforms, one thing becomes clear. Every product is built around a different philosophy. Airbyte gives engineering teams maximum flexibility through open source infrastructure and self-hosting. Stitch focuses on simplicity for smaller teams with straightforward reporting needs. Matillion is designed for organizations that have already committed to a warehouse-first architecture. Integrate.io takes a broader approach. It combines ETL, ELT, change data capture, visual transformations, reverse ETL, and observability in a single low-code platform with predictable, flat-rate pricing. The Fivetran and dbt merger has strengthened Fivetran's position, but buyers are looking for more. They are also evaluating pricing predictability, operational complexity, data activation, and how many vendors they'll rely on as they scale. Viewed through that lens, Integrate.io stands out as one of the most complete alternatives available. It reduces the need for separate transformation tools in many common workflows. It includes native reverse ETL. It provides sub-60-second change data capture, and predictable flat-rate pricing removes much of the uncertainty that comes with consumption-based billing. For most mid-market and enterprise organizations looking to simplify their data stack while expanding what it can do, Integrate.io offers the strongest balance of functionality, operational simplicity, and predictable costs. If you're evaluating Fivetran alternatives, we've included a link in the description where you can learn more about Integrate.io and see whether it's the right fit for your organization.